Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Klonoa. We're moving on to the second world of the game. How this basically goes is, generally speaking, you have two levels and a boss. That's basically the entire game.
Yeah, it's not a very long game at all.
No,
Like you
music's
could
very
easily
good,
crank
though.
this out in an afternoon or two.
It's an afternoon game, depending on how old you are. Like a kid might 2 or 3 sitting session.
Yeah, this is a 2.5D game from the PlayStation 1 era, and as I demonstrated with Pandemonium, which was the same kind of thing, the games designed in that way around that time were very much designed with an old school mentality, including their game length. They generally had the same number of stages you would expect to see in a Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo game. They were just 3D graphics.
You see, I don't know if this is just me, but I always took a really long time to beat games as a kid. I didn't really get to play for a long time growing up because generally speaking, like if I had soccer practice or homework or something else to do, I would only ever play for like maybe an hour tops on a console. If I was like in a car or whatever, I might play longer for a handheld. But I don't know if it's just because of that. Like I didn't finish games an awful lot. Like even something fairly short like Kirby 64, which can be beaten in like maybe 4 hours or so. Like, I didn't beat that until I was a teenager because I would always get to, like, World 3 and then start over because that's just what I felt like doing. So, I don't know how much of that is just me being bad at games or me not having the attention span to finish them or what.
Oh, you're definitely not alone. Because when I was young, I had to deal with not really having the time to finish a game. And then, a lot of the time, they were games that didn't even have password systems, so if you didn't have the time to finish it in one go, you had to start over and just hope you had time next time. Like, the first game I beat was Sonic Spinball, and because we, like, went out to Sesame Place or something that day, I literally left my game paused with the television turned off for 8 hours.
I've definitely done that, too.
That's a rite of passage. You just, like, begging the parents, like, it's time for dinner. Can I leave the games console on?
No,
please?
I didn't
Okay.
even ask. I just sneakily left it on, and we left, and then we came back, and I finished the game. But, like, the first time I had to play something longer than that was with the PlayStation 1 and Final Fantasy VIII, and my dad didn't know what a goddamn save point was, so I had to do, like, the entire Dalit mission twice, because Dad wouldn't let me get to a save point before kicking me off the goddamn system.
I'm still salty at my parents about that, where it's just like, it's an RPG, you know I can only save at certain parts, but you're gonna nag at me. Alright. I'm sure that the younger crowd knows this as, I'm playing online, I can't stop.
Yeah, I think that's the more common one. It's like, I'm in a match, I can't stop right now. It's like, nope, you gotta
Calm
stop.
down
It's
for
like,
dinner.
I'm gonna be the Victory Royale at Fortnite, you don't understand.
Most people who are becoming parents now know how video games play, because whether they're into them now or not, they have probably at least tried them. So they know the general flow of things. They know what saving games, how that works. But my dad, he was an Atari kid, so when I was playing Wild Arms, he thought, like,
The idea of saving a game is just a foreign concept.
no, a foreign concept to him was a game having an ending. I was sitting in a diner with my dad, trying to convey to him why I'm having fun with Resident Evil 4, and he didn't seem to get the idea of a game having a story.
I mean, I feel like Resident Evil 4 is a fairly simple game to get. There's zombies and you shoot them. Seems pretty, like, pretty simple.
Yeah, well, that he would get, but he would think it was like a never-ending, infinite wave.
just mercenaries mode the entire time.
He would think it was something like Space Invaders, but with zombies, is what he would think. Yeah, mercenaries the entire time, exactly.
I mean, that was just always kind of one of those things where, just to kind of segue off of that, I remember when, like, the Wii was making the rounds, like, before it came out, and the whole, you know, argument for it from Nintendo was just always, oh, gaming's too complicated, and we need to set those, the slate clean so everyone knows what they're doing. It's like, I'm sorry, by 2006, I'm pretty sure most people who were at all interested had some idea of how a game functioned.
I think that there was some merit in trying to, like, at least try to make things simple
on a base
for a
level,
bit.
sure, but I think they went too far on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, my dad definitely saw the appeal of the Wii. I think I mentioned this before, but he liked the idea of the simpler games that the Wii marketed itself on.
I think that's more what they were thinking of when they meant that, but I think they took it on a console level a little too far.
I think that
Because the thing is, my parents, dated to, Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and Galaga and stuff. They may not get, the more complicated games, but I can plop them down with a Mario game and they'll know what to do.
Well, yeah.
Honestly,
gaming is fairly ubiquitous enough to where if you make a simple game, most people will be able to pick it up and understand it.
the level of simple game that Nintendo was trying to aim for, I think we don't need that on a console anymore because that kind of stuff is on phones now.
Well,
if you want something extremely simple,
Well,
that's the game you play on your phone. these days.
Here's the thing, though. Nintendo sort of made their name more strongly in the era where games were very deliberately becoming more complicated. I mean, when you think of Nintendo systems, the things that tend to come to mind are the games that were forging ahead and establishing the basis for the platforming genre, or for the puzzle gaming genre, or their Super Nintendo RPGs, that kind of thing. So
Even the original Super Mario Brothers, thinking about it, people at that time thought it was nuts that you beat Bowser and then there's still new stuff after you beat Bowser,
Well, it was very much pushing the boundaries beyond what you saw in the arcades. Not to say that Nintendo didn't make a name for itself in the arcades too before that, but the arcades were generally more Sega's thing. So Nintendo very much did make its reputation on the console market and on pushing that forward. So it was extremely weird having a generation where they were deliberately trying to push themselves back. And in retrospect, the really good stuff that did show up on the Wii tended to be the more
ambitious games, regardless.
Yeah, the stuff that mixed elements of simplicity and complexity. That's where Nintendo's real charm shines. But
I mean, in some cases, I would say stuff like Mario Galaxy, I would say, is probably fairly complex even for Mario game. So
I wouldn't say so. I would say it's more of a simple kind of game wrapped up in a sort of visual complexity. But when you get down to it, Super Mario Galaxy isn't much more complicated than Super Mario 64. It just has technical elements that make it seem more complicated than it really is. I forgot the upward flowing waterfall. This is charming. I like this.
Which somehow bends at a 90-degree angle once it reaches the top instead of just going off into space.
It's a dream. Whatever.
I like the idea of naturally occurring things that are influenced by magic in some way to work in a way that they shouldn't. I mean,
this isn't something I don't think I could have ever thought of, though, as like a waterfall going backwards.
A waterfall going backwards is I don't think it ever appears in those books, but it's a very Alice in Wonderland kind of concept. Like there are clearly attributes of it that shouldn't work the way you see them working, but there it is. It's Alice in Wonderland was one big dream, wasn't it? So yeah, it's
that's what we're calling them nowadays, huh? Dreams.
Well, yeah, the
Taking
first book was entirely
and being like,
the first book was entirely a weird dream. There's a dreamlike quality to the way it's written, and the plot of the book is Alice falls asleep because she was bored, and a lot of weird things happen, and then she wakes up and she's back where she was.
Second book's
Would that
wild
be good-
because it's basically just an elaborate chess game.
Would Alice in Wonderland be the first isekai?
Probably.
Dante's Inferno?
No.
Also an option.
No.
Did Peter Pan come out first, or did Alice in Wonderland come out first?
I am not sure.
Peter, yeah, you're taken to another world where you meet this crazy boy who's really cute,
Dante's
Yeah,
He's
Inferno.
also he's
I mean,
also
that's total
overpowered as
90s
fuck.
isekai.
Dante's
Yeah,
Inferno
that's-
was not an isekai. It was a character bashing fan fiction. Get it right.
They
Yeah.
can be both. They can. They,
Oh, so it was the original anti-Jesus tune.
That is
geez.
No,
a
it's not really-
nice, like above the waterfall. I mean, like where the water is level. That's
That
a
is a good
really
water
nice
effect.
water effect.
nice water.
But
I miss the Wii U.
well, I mean, I say it's a nice water effect, but if I were playing it on my actual monitor, it would probably look like crap because the Wii U does not upscale very well, and because the Wii does not upscale very well, and I mean, I use a PC monitor, which means like, okay, when you're using an HD flat screen television, there's normally a bit of lag because like a very small amount of lag will occur because the television needs a moment to upscale the images that are being sent to it so that they look decent at whatever resolution you're playing. But when you're using a PC monitor like I do, it skips that step and therefore has no lag. But then if you're playing any game at all that isn't naturally like 1080p in my case, the image won't upscale, so you get this kind of slightly blurry, jaggy version of that image. A real pain
I
in the
think
ass
that,
when I play Switch games, and
It might be just my TV, but Wii games on Wii U are very hit or miss. Generally, stuff that like this game that are more simple tend to look pretty good upscaled. Like Mario Galaxy looks pretty good upscaled on Wii U. Kirby Return to Dreamland looks pretty good. Stuff that the poor Wii, people really did try to do some interesting things on it, and the results are mixed, as you could expect.
It's because Nintendo did not allow even for an option to do HDMI output.
They should have at least had the I understand that would have probably jacked up the price a little bit, and one of the Wii's appeals at the time was the price. Like, the thing was $250.
yeah, in the generation where we had the PlayStation 3, $599 US. Yeah, everyone knows that debacle.
Yeah, so-
The weird thing is that they allowed you to have options for the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo because you didn't need to use the RCAs on those. They were different outputs.
Oh yeah, you can use the same cables on the Wii that you can use for the GameCube and the N64.
In the Super Nintendo.
The reason that they let you use those options on the older consoles though is because not everyone had the same shit on their televisions at the time.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, give people the option. If you have a TV with an HDMI in, let them use it.
What
What would have been cool is if they did that, then we would have HDMI out cables for all of those old systems, which would have been great.
That's the thing, though. Back in those days, not everyone had a system. Not everyone had a TV with the older stuff. So, if they hadn't given us the options for those older systems, a lot of people would have bought this console and not been able to use it. But around that time, like literally every television had the component cable, and you could have component cables going out of the same port on the back of the system as the old AV cables. So it was really, really easy to just have both the old and the relatively new output options for the Wii without upping the manufacturing cost. HDMI was fairly newish, so they could assume that not everyone would have it, and then...
well, that was their excuse as to why they didn't have it at all, but they really should have had the
they
option there.
They really should have, yes. I would definitely agree with that, but, like, they saw the cost-cutting measure, and they took it, and
Yeah, unfortunately, that means a lot of the stuff from the system does not upscale super great.
Yeah,
In hindsight, though, I don't think they expected HD to catch on as quick as it did. Because
I don't see that. I think that'd be foolish to say because everyone knew HD was the way things were going. It was just a price thing at the time.
Yeah,
It was
but
also
like,
extremely long generation, so like
Yeah,
the
'cause,
PS3 and 360 and Wii lasted for a long time. So by the time it was time for the next console, by the end of those console lives, they were very far behind.
When
Yeah.
did you guys get like your first HD TV? Because I don't
personally or family.
like. Well, we were all like teenagers when the Wii came out, so family. Because we got our first HD TV not until like 2009 or 10.
First one at my house was the one we replaced. We finally, at the time, our big, family unit was already like pushing 10 years old, so we got our first one around 2006.
I actually got mine around that time too, but it wasn't a family TV. I just went out and bought my own HD TV with my bonus from Walmart. So
yeah, you could get small ones for a reasonable amount.
yeah, I just got myself a little bedroom-sized television. I think I might still have the same exact fucking TV, actually, like sitting on my side table over there.
I think mine was around 2005, 2006. I know I got it in college because I was using my old TV that was not HDMI capable and have HD and all that. And in the process of transporting it to college, my mother was helping me move, and she had her rings on. No. Oh. She had her rings on, so she was reaching for something else, and her wedding ring scratched up against the TV, and, well, that's a real diamond, because it scratched the hell out of the TV, so...
the screen or just the case?
The screen. Like, that was glass, so it cut right into that glass, and that was done. So I got a new TV for college, and thanks to my grandparents, and got a nice little 32-inch HDMI capable one. I still have it.
Maybe I was just late to the party then, because I remember I was using.
You're also younger than us, so.
Yeah, but like when I finally got a TV in my room, it was I was like 16, and it was like a tiny CRT, and that's what I hooked up my GameCube and N64 to.
Nice. I mean, say my first TV in general was around 12 or 13, and that was just because, I have younger sisters, so it was to prevent us from, fighting over the TV, so, I'm the oldest, so I got a tiny little, like, maybe 12-inch CRT VHS combo.
But it's amazing at the time because, oh my gosh, I can play movies on this thing and play my own games.
My first...
Man, if I ever, like, try to get a retro CRT TV for any reason, I want to get one of the ones with the VHS and DVD player in it.
I actually have a big old CRT TV sitting on my dresser over there, but I can't use it yet because, like, it was something someone left on the side of on the curb, like, directly across the street from where I'm living right now, with a paper on it that said free. Like, you can have this if you want it. There was one drawback, and that is that at some point, apparently the power cable got cut off. So I have this big, nice CRT TV. I'm just looking for an opportunity to pay someone to fix the power cable so that I can actually use it.
Hey, if you get something like that, might as well try to fix it. Like, I remember people were talking about, it was like Nintendo continued to repair NESs until like the early 2010s, I think, until they said, okay, we got to stop doing this. But like it's cheaper than I thought it would be to repair a lot of retro technology.
Well, because it's surprisingly simple stuff.
Well, I mean,
you need to find someone with the right tools for it.
Well, I mean, the power cable is something that's easily replaced. You just need the right kind of wiring, the right kind of power, the right kind of power cable, and you can just reattach it, and you're golden.
Stuff that I imagine is a nightmare to try to fix or repair is newer stuff, like stuff in the 2010s. Like, I'm trying to imagine repairing a Wii U gamepad right now, and it sounds like the worst thing in the world.
What's worse is trying to mod the Wii U gamepad so you can record off of it.
Oh, God.
Poor Emil.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. Where did I play that I just never bothered? I couldn't show the gamepad, so I was just like, screw it.
That sounds like...
It's not worth it.
Kirby Curse. Rainbow Curse? Is that the Wii U one? Canvas Curse, Rainbow Curse?
See, that one wasn't a problem because I just recorded off the TV, so I had this lovely picture from the TV, but I was stuck looking at the gamepad the entire time I was recording, so...
Yeah, so it's like, oh man, the game looks great on the TV. Too bad I'm looking at the gamepad and don't get to see that.
Try to do a review of Fatal Frame 5 and you can't actually show what the camera's UI looks like because that is exclusively on the gamepad.
So much just camera footage, recording off the.
The only thing that happens on the main screen, as far as the camera is concerned, is this squarish frame that shows you like generally where your camera is aiming, like where the frame for the photo will be.
God forbid trying to record something like Star Fox Zero, because I would imagine trying to once you do mod the thing to get footage, there's wires all over the place. I don't know if you would have the maneuverability room to even play that game.
I think most people figured out like, I can switch which screens are where and just sort of use that as a method to get footage.
But that also sounds disorienting.
Oh yeah, but it's like, well, it's what you do if you need to get the footage in order to show off the thing.
I mean, I guess.